Alright, so in this video we are going to be rebuilding this Aprilia RS50. It's 2012, and we're going to be outlining all the costs in the build, the cost of getting it, so fuel, time. We're going to make sure we got a bit of a rough sort of time on how long it took to do everything start to finish on this build, and we're going to be getting a full total so we can find out how much profit we can make on this bike. And then we'll divide it down into how many hours we've worked on it, try and get a bit of an hourly rate, basically just finding out how much there is to be made doing this sort of stuff with flipping bikes. Paid 250 quid for the bike, and there are quite a few parts we need, and the amount that we end up making off it is actually quite surprising, so make sure you watch to the end so you don't miss it. So here is our engine. As we can see, it's very incomplete, missing a lot of parts, it's full of crap. So this we've got to get back together. And something else I've noticed, we've got a crack in the casing here, which is the stator side, so we can patch that with something, not quite sure what yet. So now it's just a case of seeing if we can't get this thing back together, get it running. So the first thing we had to buy, we needed a gasket kit for it, because obviously the gaskets, they're all shot what are currently on the bike, so we needed to replace them. So now we just have to really carefully remove this old gasket, make sure we don't drop any pieces of it into the actual engine, because that's going to be a pain to fish out, and then we can get the new one fitted. And whilst we're at it, we might as well give the engine a quick little wipe down, just to stop any bits of rubbish falling in it. And when you are fitting gaskets, be really careful, because they are only made of paper. They do rip very easily, and if you do tear them, don't even bother putting them back in, because they'll just leak. There we go, and just check there's no serious overhangs anywhere. Make sure the gasket fits well, which this one does, so that is perfect. So we've got a little tub here full of engine oil, two-stroke engine oil, and we're just going to make sure we're using plenty of that in the rebuilding process, just to make sure everything is nice and lubricated when we first start the engine. So when rebuilding an engine, I like to add my own little modifications. So we are putting a Stage 6 88cc big bore kit into this RS50 engine. It should give it a little bit more power, a little bit more top end. And now we need to get the actual piston fitted onto the conrod, and that's pretty easy. Just make sure everything's oiled up so it's all got a bit of lubrication when you first start the engine. Slide the pin through, put the little clips in either side, all good. And now we're just going to fit the actual barrel, and I probably meant to get a proper piston ring squeezer tool thingy, but I just squeeze the rings in, push the barrel down over the top, and once you get in the way, slap it down a bit, and there you go, it's on. And as you can see, goes up and down lovely. And obviously the piston, that's top dead centre. Most engines, the piston comes all the way to the top. However, if we look at the head, there's a bit of lip on it where the piston actually goes inside the head, goes inside the barrel, so that'll fill up that gap. So that is no problem whatsoever. That is ready to start getting that back together. So all we need to do now is clean out the reed area, and we've got reeds to fit. Right, I'm going to stop you right there. So we've got a bit of an issue. I've ordered the wrong reed block. This is the AM6 reed block, and I need one for the D50B engine. Right, let's get an order another one, and we'll put it back in when I get it. And on that terrible disappointment, we are going to go ahead and get the head installed on the engine. So a little tip for you lot, when you're putting spark plugs back in, always put a bit of oil on the threads, because it can help stop the spark plug seizing in the heads and breaking off, because that does happen quite frequently actually, you'd be surprised, and it gets very expensive. Now we're just going and cleaning all the gearbox side of the engine up, get any little bits of rubbish and grit and dirt, just where this thing's not had an engine case for quite a while, get all that cleaned up, clean up the gasket surfaces, get the gasket on, and then we can get the actual crankcase cover on. Something worth noticing as well is when you're wiping all the oil and everything off the gears, put a little bit of clean oil on afterwards, just to make sure there's a bit of lubrication for when you do go and start the engine. Another part we had to buy was the coolant pump cover, because this just didn't have one with it for whatever reason. Bit annoying, but it's what it is.
go.
Alright, so it's the next day. We are back out here working on the RS, and I really quickly want to say thank you so much to all of those of you who have subscribed recently. We've just hit 400 subscribers. I'll be honest, I can't believe how quickly this is coming around. I didn't think we'd get there this soon. I didn't think we'd get there full stop, to be honest. And I absolutely just love being able to do what I do, and by you subscribing, it just kind of motivates me to keep doing it. So thank you so much. Let's get back on with the video. So we've got enough of the engine assembled now that we can slot it into the actual chassis. We're still waiting on a couple parts, so we're still waiting on a new flywheel, the flywheel bolt, and also a Woodruff key, which is a little key that holds the flywheel in place. We're still waiting on those, but we can fit that one after the engine is in the bike. So for now, we need to get this back in the bike so we can carry on progressing with the build. Let's do it. So we can actually get the engine in place, we're going to have to go ahead and remove this front engine, I think it's an engine cradle, I think they call it, so that's going to have to come out so we can get the engine mounted, the engine slotted in. So let's do that. We're going to have to drop off the bike lift first though, so let's get on with it. Now we need to lower the motorbike down on the lift so we can get to all the bolts that hold the engine cradle in. Then we've got to get that radiator removed, and then we can remove the top bolts holding the cradle in, get the cradle out, get the engine in, get it running. Right, so here's the old subframe we've got removed off the bike. As we can see, the side stand, a little bit that it mounts to, it's been absolutely demolished, so we're going to be fitting this one to it, which is one I had just laying around from an old bike that I'd parted out, which I'm far made my money on. However, I'm going to put on the screen how much this would cost to buy, because we're doing it all properly. So this cost however much it says up here. Now it's time to get that engine fitted. Now we've got the engine cradle loosely fitted, we're just going to slot the engine in. Having gone and got the area wiped down quickly just to get rid of all the grease and grime, we're going to go ahead and get that radiator mounted with a pair of nuts and bolts. Right, so we've loosely got, well, no, we've not loosely, we have properly mounted the engine over. It's got one bolt at the bottom to put in still. Now we are going to swap over the stator plate, which looks absolutely destroyed, because we've got the flywheel to fit, so we can get that all sorted. Let's get on with that. On second thoughts, no we are not. I've just found out another part we're missing. It's a gear mechanism that goes in here, which converts the starter motor drive to the gears on the actual flywheel. I'll put a photo on the screen. So we're going to have to get on and order that. Hopefully that'll be here soon. Right, so we've ordered a new starter Bendix, which is the part that's missing, and a starter Bendix plate. We've also got a sprocket and the sprocket hold down part ordered too. All the price is going to be spinning up on the screen up there somehow. It's just getting more and more expensive. Hopefully that is it as far as what we need to buy. Nope, don't be silly. So we need to get the stator and the stator plate off, and we're going to replace both of it with some new ones, because the old connectors have been chopped off for whatever reason, so we've got a new one anyway, because it came with the flywheel. Let's do that. So now we're going to go ahead and get the 3 Phillips screws that hold the stator in removed, then we'll get the 3 Torx screws that hold the stator plate in, remove it all, give it all a really good clean up, get it all back in the bike. Right, so now I've got the old stator plate removed, and a stator we can see is an absolute mess in there. It's disgusting. So we're going to give that a really good clean up, try and get as much of the rubbish out there as possible, because we don't want all that spinning around inside our engine. So we're just going to give it a quick little blast down with our degreaser, and then agitate it with a paintbrush and wipe it all off. So it's not perfect, however it's night and day difference compared to what it was before, and that is just kind of greasy stuff that's not really wanting to come off too well, so we're going to leave it. And now I'm leading to presume that this was taken apart originally because the flywheel exploded. So hear me out. This is part of the flywheel, and this is what's left of the flywheel that was given to me. And as we can see, that has exploded off. And roughly when the flywheel's actually on the bike, that split line there is perfectly in line with the teeth. So I believe this was spinning at however many thousand RPM that the engine spins at, and this just shattered and shot part of it through there, and the rest of it was stuck in here, and that is what caused that big old hole in the side casing there. That's all I can think it could be. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty serious damage, and my god, someone's made a mess of that with a flywheel puller. Bloody hell. Yeah, oh well, it's fine because we've got replacement parts. Just got to get a Bendix, and then we can get it all back together. Lovely. Right, so we've got a new stator here with the new stator plate. This just came with the flywheel kit. I wouldn't have needed to order this, but it came with it. So I thought, well, we might as well fit it. So let's get it in. There we go, so that's the stator and the stator plate fitted. And at last the postman has finally decided to deliver our reblock, so let's get it fit to the bike. Got to clean all the old, looks like such a plastered load of gasket maker on there. Made a proper mess of that, but it's fine, we'll get that fitted. Right, so now we're just going ahead and getting all the gasket maker, I think it's gasket maker, some sort of silicone-y crap. Get all that scraped off the reed so it's all nice and clean up, split them in half, get a good surface on it and we'll get it fitted on the bike. Now that we have got a reed block fitted, we are going to go ahead and get the sprocket and chain sorted out. So we've run ourselves into a bit of a problem. The chain seems to not be long enough, but that's actually just because the chain adjusters are on the furthest out they could possibly go. So you've just got to loosen them off a bit, push the back wheel inwards a bit, and we can get the chain all together. Lovely. Now that we've got the chain and sprocket sorted, we're going to have a go bleeding the front brakes. I do need to get a proper brake bleeding kit, but for now all I do is just top up the brake master cylinder with oil, pump the brake lever a load till no air bubbles come out. Generally, by the time there's no more air bubbles coming out, your brakes are bled pretty well. Alright, so we've just about run out of time for this video. The problem is we are waiting on parts still, and parts are not coming. So in the next video we will get this thing done, running, riding. We'll take a little ride. Hopefully we'll get it sold as well. Get a bit of an answer for how much I'm actually going to make on this thing. So if you enjoyed the video, please smash that subscribe button, like the video, and comment what you want to see. Like if you like this sort of video, or if you rather the other things I do where it's just kind of me just working on them, and then that's pretty much it. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.